Superstation, the future radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Monday, January 11th, 2021. And we are live. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's been another very busy, crazy day as more pictures, more footage, more details are revealed about the failed coup attempt led by Donald John Trump on Wednesday, January 6, 2021. We see more footage, more shocking images. We see more arrests coming. We see more arrests have happened, actually, I should say. We're at about 100 domestic terrorists have been arrested. And people keep saying day after day after day, if these had been a group of Muslims, if these had been a group of African Americans, if these had been a group of Hispanics or Latinos, a good number of them would have been shot, and a lot more of them would have been arrested right there on the spot, etc. So we're going to jump into some of these most recent stories here. We see House Democrats have introduced articles of impeachment against the traitor-in-chief Donald Trump. One of the articles of impeachment deals with inciting a Capitol riot, incitement of insurrection. And then we see a very disturbing memo from the FBI. The FBI is warning law enforcement across the U.S. of possible armed protests at 50 state capitals. Now, you already had many of the domestic terrorists saying they were coming back for the inauguration. They're actually coming back to the Washington, D.C., January 16th through the 20th. Okay. Now, it appears that the D.C. is ready for them. We see that about 15,000 National Guard are going to be deployed. But the FBI warns law enforcement across the U.S. of possible armed protests at 50 state capitals. The FBI also says an armed group has threatened to travel to Washington, D.C. and stage an uprising if Congress removes Trump from office. This is some more domestic terrorism. They tried to have a coup of the government January 6th, and they tried to interrupt a constitutionally mandated process of certifying the Electoral College votes. They wanted to interrupt that process to keep Trump in office. They were trying to overthrow the government. And now you have threats that if Trump is removed from office, and he should be removed from office because he is a national security threat, he incited insurrection. Okay, these are dictator-like tendencies. And then now you have some domestic terrorists saying if he's removed from office, which he should be, then they're going to stage an uprising. And this has been brewing for a number of years, and Donald Trump has encouraged this. Donald Trump has fostered this. He's been encouraging these white supremacist domestic terrorists on social media. And now many of their social media accounts have been shut down. Many of them have been labeled as domestic terrorists. So when they're trying to fly home, they're getting they can't get on planes. We posted an article today from dailymail.co.uk. It's gotten over 3,000 likes. Pro-Trump protester breaks down after being put on no-fly list. He broke down crying. He's at the airport breaking down crying. Okay, because he said they're trying to ruin his life and they're calling him a terrorist because he was at the Capitol, the storming of the Capitol, and across the country, a lot of these people who have been identified, they're being labeled as domestic terrorists and put on a no-fly list. Let me get this straight. I just want to make sure I understand. Now, this may go outside the circumference of some people's awareness. Just because you don't like what I'm about to say does not mean it's not true. And this is not an attack on white people. We have white listeners listen to the African History Network show here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, WFDF here in Detroit. Okay. So we're broadcasting on radio right now. And we have white listeners who listen to the radio station all day long. But this is the height of white privilege. You thought that you could storm the U.S. Capitol, break into the Capitol, threaten to hang the vice president, set up a gallows on the Capitol Mall, go in and threaten to do harm to members of Congress, Speaker of the House, the pro tem of the Senate, Chuck Grassley. And then you thought you can just get on Southwest Airlines or whatever airlines you flew on and just go back home and go about your business. Yeah, and I posted here, I said, so apparently you didn't think this whole thing through too well. No, many of them are being labeled domestic terrorists and taken off flights or not allowed to get on flights. They're being grounded. So what happened was, if you look at this article, I love that. Oh, I laughed through this whole article. Oh, this is comic relief right here. He said they call me an effing terrorist. This is a big burly pro-Trump supporter. Burly pro-Trump protester sobs at DC airport after finding out he's been put on no-fly list. He's there crying, just boo-hooing. Okay. So what happened was, see, once again, these people don't understand law, don't understand government departments, anything like that. Apparently, they never heard of Department of Homeland Security. Okay? Apparently, you never heard of Homeland Security. So here's what happened. Benny Thompson, who's member of the House Representatives, and member of the Congressional Black Caucus. Benny Thompson is from Mississippi. Benny Thompson chairs the House Committee on Homeland Security. Last Thursday, Representative Benny Thompson called on the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, and the FBI to place those involved in Wednesday's deadly attack, this attempted coup on the U.S. Capitol. He called on TSA and FBI to place these domestic terrorists on the federal no-fly list. This was reported by USA Today. So there's a bunch of them jumping on planes thinking they're just going to go back home. Business as usual. It's no, you can't. No, you're on no-fly list. We know who you are. How am I going to get home? Why don't you call Donald Trump? Better yet, why don't you call Tyrone? Okay, so, quote, this should include, Benny Thompson said, this should include all individuals identified as having entered the Capitol building, an intrusion which threatened the safety of members of Congress and staff and served as an attack on our nation. This is what the Massachusetts Democrat said in a statement. Representative Benny Thompson, chairman of the House Committee on Homeland Security. Quote, alleged perpetrators of a domestic terrorist attack who have been identified by the FBI should be held accountable, end quote. Oh my God. Then they show this one woman here, she got taken off of Delta Airlines, now, I don't mean to be, I'm just sitting here. I'm like, y'all actually thought you were going to come and be involved in the insurrection of the U.S. government, come in and threaten members of Congress, and thought you just going to get on a plane and fly back home, go about your business. He said, what kind of drug are you on? Okay. So they show there's one pro-Trump supporter, is a white female, right? They show her being taken off the plane. I wonder the people on the plane, especially black people, I wonder if they sung that ludicrous song, Move Chick, Get Off the Plane, Get Off the Plane, Chick, Get Off the Plane. I wonder if they said that. I'm sitting back. I was like, y'all actually thought you just gonna go back to business as usual. No, your dumb ass has filmed yourself. You broadcast it on social media. You took pictures. All that stuff's out there. They're tracking you down now. Yeah. So we have this taking place. We have about 100 arrests. You got a lot of these people being fired from their jobs. Their jobs don't have anything to do with them. There's growing calls for Senator Ted Cruz, little spineless Ted Cruz, and Senator Josh Hawley. There's growing calls for them to be kicked out of the U.S. Senate. Oh, it's a whole lot of fallout from this. I don't think these people realize. I don't think they realize how you trying to be with Trump and you trying to hang with Trump and ride his coattails. You don't realize the can of whoop ass you just opened up. I don't think they really realized it was gonna go down like this. Okay, so then I know we're coming up on a break. I'm just going through. I looked at so many articles today, and some of this stuff we posted this. We had a good laugh because some of these people is like this is the height of white privilege, right? So then we see CNN and NBCNews.com reported several Capitol Police officers suspended over pro-Trump riot. Several Capitol Police officers suspended over pro-Trump riot. Now, the Capitol Police were overwhelmed. Malcolm Nance, counterterrorist expert, Malcolm Nance was interviewed by Roland Martin today on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Go watch that. The January 11th, 2021 edition of Roland Martin Unfiltered. Watch that on Roland's YouTube channel and his Facebook channel. Okay, I was on the show this past Friday, January 8th. I'm a panelist on Roland Martin Unfiltered every Friday. Malcolm Nance says, based upon the information he has, there was 8,000 insurrectionists there storming the U.S. Capitol building. Okay, there was only about 500 Capitol Police on duty, so they were totally overwhelmed. The majority of the Capitol Police, I'm not talking about the one taking the selfie, the majority of the Capitol Police did the best they could. They were attacked, they were beaten. We know one was killed. We know another one was beaten with a flagpole. It's just you just see the viciousness of some of these people, some of these Trump supporters. You wonder what the hell happened to them. They grew up with no daddy or something. What's wrong with them? There's an article that our Sunday night show. We have so many callers, and that was cool because people wanted to call in. I had a ton of articles to get to Sunday. We didn't even get a chance to get to this, but there was an article from BuzzFeed News from January 9th, 2021. These black Capitol Police officers described fighting off racist ass terrorists. These black Capitol Police officers described fighting off racist, their words, not mine, quote unquote, racist ass terrorists. Two black officers told BuzzFeed News that their chief and other upper management left them totally unprepared and were nowhere to be found on the day. Now, we do know that the chief son, he was on the phone with the Pentagon trying to get help. There's a big article from the Washington Post about this, and Axios picked it up as well. We posted this article today, and we're still trying to put all these pieces together and figure out exactly what the heck happened. But something that's very interesting is that there has been no press conferences from the Pentagon, Homeland Security. Speaking of Homeland Security, Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Chad Wolf stepped down today. Imagine that. 9 days left. You can last 9 days. 9 days left. Chad Wolf steps down. You know what that makes him, right? Makes him a stepping wolf. You listen to that. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. Comedicwear.com is the go-to online source for Comedic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. committed to offering unique styles reflecting African heritage. Medwear.com is inspired by medicscribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at comedicwear.com.
With blackbusinesstee.com, the messages are clear and meaningful. Keep your business in the black and out of the red. Mind your black business, know your numbers, and plan strategically. Black Business Boss, lead your industry. Support black business, encourage, patronize, and uplift one another. Blackbusinesstee.com currently has products sold in Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and Los Angeles, with proceeds returned to the black community. They have a wide selection of hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, sweatshirts that support black-owned businesses. Visit the website blackbusinesstee.com. That's blackbusinesstee.com.
Black Bees products are a collection of natural, organic, personal care products with an appreciation of nature and bees. Our philosophy is without bees, we have nothing. We are honoring our Nile Valley ancestors who understood the importance of bees. Black Bees created a high-quality, natural, organic, personal care that would be affordable to everyone. We hope you try and enjoy our Black Products line and come back and visit us at blackbeesproducts.com.
For 25 years, the Black History One Mobile Museum carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original acts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-through schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most trusted Black History Mobile in America. Khalid El-Hakim is the founder of the Black History One-on-One Mobile Museum and a highly sought-after speaker on topics of Black social studies, education, STEM studies, pop, and race relations. Dr. Khalid was among the change makers who see Universal's Erase the Hate list of the 100 Men Distinction for Black Enterprise. He recently the Michigan Hip Hop Archive, the campus of West Michigan University. History One-on-One Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibit. For more, please contact Khalid El-Hakim directly at 313-665-4197, 316-4197. Visit their website at historymobilemuseum.com, historymobilemuseum.com. So email bhistory1@yahoo.com, history101@com. Neeson. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation of Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Monday, January 11th, 2021. We're live. Only 9 more days still with the Traitor-in-Chief in office. January 20th, 2021 can't come soon enough. Once again, this show is brought to you by the Jim James, Paul and Tyrone Moving Company. Okay, they have a special sale right now. It's good only for 1 day, January 20th, 2021. It's only good for people moving from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the Jim James, Paul and Tyrone Moving Company. Use promo code hashtag DJT, pack your stuff, and call 1-866-CALL-TYRONE. Okay, and we'll even let you use an Obama phone to do it. All right, so on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, it's correct wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow the people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his actions or her actions, because the mind can't teach or do what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828. To sign up for our email newsletter, text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up for the email newsletter there. And if you want to donate to the African History Network, we're here 6 nights a week. So the purchase of our DVD lectures, digital downloads, you donate to us, that helps us to keep doing the research, stay on the air 6 nights a week. $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App. Then also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. PayPal.me/the AHN show. So today, two very important people celebrating birthdays. Mary J. Blige, the queen of hip hop soul, Mary J. Blige, born January 11th, 1971. Then also Kim Coles, comedian, actress Kim Coles, who we saw early on Living Single and Living in Living Color as well. She was born January 11th, 1962. She turns 59 today. So happy birthday to Kim Coles and Mary J. Blige. Then also, I didn't get a chance to talk about this Sunday night because it's so busy. January 10th. January 10th was the birth date of the late Fayette Pinkney. Fayette Pinkney. And she was a member of the 3 Degrees. Remember on Sanford and Son, we want the 3 Degrees, we want the 3 Degrees. Well, they were a real singing group, okay, back in the early 70s, the 3 Degrees. All right, she was born January 10th, 1948, passed away June 27, 2009. We'll talk some more about her later on in the show. So there was this article from blackamericaweb.com, okay? And now, you know, what happened was a tragedy there, but, you know, they're finding out, you trying to do what Trump does, you can't do that. And Trump is, and this fallout from Trump is getting backlash also. So Cleveland schools employee resigns after being seen on social media at the siege. Cleveland schools employee resigns after being seen on social media at the siege, at the insurrection, at the attempted coup. So you have this one teacher, this one employee, Christine M. Priola, 49 years old, a Cleveland Metropolitan School District occupational therapist who was identified by social media users as a woman in the unbelievable photo holding a phone up to the man who had just seized the Senate chamber. Some of these people just lost their ever-loving minds. Okay? And she's holding the, okay, I got to turn on the screen shot. You got to see this right here. See, this is white privilege. This is white privilege. This is when you think you can be involved in the overthrow of the government and then just go back home and just go back to your life and go to Kmart, Walmart, whatever the hell you do. Just think everything, you know, go get a big gulp or whatever, you know, just go on about your life. It's like, so let's look at this here. Let me turn the screen share. I want y'all to see this because you ain't gonna believe it if I just tell you, but just tell you what it's like, right? So Black America Web has this article. She's on the Senate floor chamber. She's in the Senate chambers on the floor. This white guy draped in the Trump flag, sitting at the desk in the Senate chambers, and she's holding the phone up. But she's holding the phone up to him. I guess she's filming him or something. Whatever. But she has a sign underneath her arm that says, "The children cry out for justice." The children for justice. So it's just ridiculous. So then you realize how dumb some of these people actually are. You listen to the nonsense that Trump is spewing, and you can tell from one, these people never read the U.S. Constitution. Half these people, I don't even think they can read, tell you the truth, because I'm listening to some of them. I'm like, how should I put it? It's like white supremacy is a powerful drug. White supremacy is a powerful drug. I'm listening to some of them, and it seems like they never like took an American government class, never read the U.S. Constitution, because he was lying to them and telling them that Pence had the power to throw out electoral college votes. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have that authority, and Pence knows this. Pence knows this. Pence is a former member of the U.S. House of Representatives and a former governor of Indiana. He knows he doesn't have that authority. That's what he told Trump. So let's look at this article quickly. Then we want to get to the articles of impeachment and also this dire warning from the FBI. So Christine M. Priola was identified by a Twitter user as a reply to the DC Police Department tweet asking for assistance in identifying rioters in a set of photos. And they show some of the photos here in the article from BlackAmericaWeb.com. So this is what the authorities been doing. FBI, DC police, they're putting up photos on social media. Hey, you know who these people are? So give us a tip. Now, I heard that the FBI has gotten about 40,000 tips because people know who these people are all across the country. They're being arrested, put on no-fly lists. A day of reckoning is coming. These people are going to be prosecuted. Now, remember back during the summer, Donald Trump did this little executive order trying to target Black Lives Matter activists. And it was an executive order saying that people would get 10 years in prison for defacing and vandalizing federal buildings. Remember that? Once again, I don't think these people I think these people thought that only applied to Black people. No, that applies to your dumb ass too. Oh my God, he did it to you. You went and followed this fool and you forgot about the executive order he did back in June because you thought that just applied to Black Lives Matter. No, it applies to you too, fool. So shortly after Christine M. Priola was pointed out, she resigned from her job with Cleveland Metropolitan Schools. All these people losing their jobs. I wonder if anybody's like their husband or wife broke up with them after this. You know, that's coming too. Okay, so there's a statement here. The Cleveland Teachers Union released a statement on Friday condemning the violence at the U.S. Capitol. The Cleveland Teachers Union strongly condemns the violent attack on our democratic institutions that occurred this week. Rioters who broke the law should be held fully accountable. Our national affiliate has called for the immediate removal of President Trump for instigating this assault on our country. He lost the PGA Tour. He lost the Cleveland Teachers Union. All these people turning on him. Deutsche Bank is not doing any more business with them. I told people back in February 2017, the worst thing that Donald Trump ever did in his life was run for president. I said he's going to regret that for the rest of his life. The worst thing Trump ever did was run for president. All right, so let's look at this. I want to look at the story dealing with the articles of impeachment here. Let's see. NBC News has a report on this, and let's look at the updates. House Democrats introduced articles of impeachment against Trump for inciting Capitol riot. And let's go to, let me pull this up here also. So Donald Trump is now on the verge of becoming the first president in American history to be impeached twice. Well, he's the most corrupt president in U.S. history, so he should be impeached at least twice. Okay, at least twice. House Democrats introduced an article of impeachment on Monday, January 11th, 2021, charging Donald John Trump for incitement of insurrection. after his supporters staged a violent invasion of the U.S. Capitol that left 5 people dead, including a U.S. Capitol police officer. And we know that there was another one who was there but committed suicide off duty. More than 200 Democrats, more than 200 Democrats have co-sponsored the measure, accusing the president, Donald Trump, of having, quote, gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government. Gravely endangered the United States and its institutions of government. Quote, he threatened the integrity of the democratic system, interfered with the peaceful transition of power. Now, you remember when Michael Cohen testified in front of Congress over a year ago, he said Trump was not going to go away quietly. He said there would not be a peaceful transference of power. Michael Cohen was correct. Cohen knows Trump better than most people. Cohen knows Trump better than Jim Jordan or Mark Meadows or Kevin McCarthy or Ted Cruz or Lindsey Graham or any of these other congressmen or senators who are kissing Trump's behind and turning the other cheek. Okay? No pun intended. Michael Cohen knows Trump better than any of them. And Michael Cohen called it. He said Trump was not going to go away quietly. There would not be a peaceful transference of power. And Michael Cohen also said months ago that Donald Trump would not attend the inauguration. He said that also. And he was correct. So Democrats introduced the articles of impeachment on Monday, as well as a resolution that calls on Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution to remove Trump from office before January 20th. Now, the House will vote on the 25th Amendment measure as early as Tuesday and on the article of impeachment on Wednesday, 1 week to the day after the deadly mayhem that has shaken Washington to its core and a week before the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. The impeachment measure, which has more than 200 Democratic co-sponsors, says Trump gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government. He threatened the integrity of the democratic system, interfered with the peaceful transition of power, and imperiled a co-equal branch of government. He thereby betrayed his trust as the president to the manifest injury of the people of the United States, end quote. Now, members announced the articles of impeachment and other resolutions during a brief House session at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, Democrat from Maryland, tried to pass a resolution prepared by Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat from Maryland, that calls on Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment. Hoyer needed unanimous consent to pass the measurement, but Representative Alex Mooney, Republican from West Virginia, blocked it. Democrats will now hold a floor vote on the measure on Tuesday night. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said, we are calling on the Vice President to respond within 24 hours. Okay. All right. So we'll see what happens there. It's not expected that the 25th Amendment will be successful. We see 3 cabinet members have resigned in the past few days. The most recent one was today. Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf resigned. He's supposed to be preparing for the inauguration. He's Homeland Security. So these people are running for cover. It's a little too late. As long as you all been there, you should stay another 9 days or so. It's a little too late. Now, we also see that the FBI sent out a troubling memo today to law enforcement departments across the country. FBI memo warns law enforcement across U.S. of possible armed protests of 50 state capitals. NBCnews.com is an article about this. We posted one from ABC News. Armed protests being planned at all 50 state capitals, FBI bulletin says. Armed protests being planned at all 50 state capitals. FBI bulletin says. Now, starting this week and running through at least Inauguration Day, January 20th, armed protests are being planned at all 50 state capitals. Armed protests are being planned at all 50 state capitals and at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., according to an internal FBI bulletin obtained by ABC News. The FBI has also received information in recent days on a group calling for, quote unquote, storming state, local, and federal government courthouses, storming state, local, and federal government courthouses and administrative buildings in the event President Donald Trump is removed from office prior to Inauguration Day. Okay, now that's a domestic terrorist threat. That's a domestic terrorist threat. The group is also planning to storm government offices in every state the day President-elect Joe Biden will be inaugurated, regardless of whether the state certified electoral votes for Trump or Biden. Quote, the FBI received information about an identified armed group intending to travel to Washington, D.C. on January 16th. They have warned that if Congress attempts to remove POTUS, President of the United States, or Chrissy Teigen, wasn't it Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife? She called him PAB, but we won't. Just Google that, figure out what that is. If they try to remove POTUS via the 25th Amendment, a huge uprising will occur. That's another domestic terrorist threat. Now, federal law enforcement officials have advised police agencies to increase their security posture at state houses around the country following the riot at the U.S. Capitol. Now, that was an insurrection. That wasn't a riot. A riot is what white college students have when they lose the NCAA championship game. They turn over cars and set stuff on fire. That's a riot. That's when they lose a NCAA championship game or a football game or something. That's a riot. This was an insurrection. They were trying to overthrow the government. Now, following the violent pro-Trump breach of the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday, January 6th, Democratic lawmakers in the House of Representatives pushed forward Monday with an effort to get Vice President Mike Pence and the cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Now, according to the FBI, approximately 29 individuals and or social media accounts of individuals who unlawfully entered the U.S. Capitol have been identified as of Sunday. Okay? Approximately 29 individuals and or social media accounts of individuals who unlawfully entered the Capitol have been identified as of Sunday. The FBI has received nearly 45,000 digital media tips that are now being reviewed. Nearly 45,000 digital media tips that are now being reviewed. They're going to catch hundreds of these idiots. At least 5 people died during the siege on the Capitol, including Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick. The FBI bulletin said that Sicknick, quote, died from injuries sustained during the U.S. Capitol breach, end quote. All right, the calling number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. 313-778-7600 It's the call-in number. We're going to switch gears here for just a second. I want to go to, okay, we have a caller here also. We'll go to the phone lines in just a second. Then we want to talk about the 3 degrees and Fayette Pinkney, whose birthday was January 10th. Then I want to squeeze in this article here. There was an interview with outgoing chief, Capitol Hill Police Chief, Stephen Sund. The Washington Post did this exclusive article with him this morning. And it was, I mean, we got more details on what happened, the debacle. All right, let's go to the phone lines here. Let's go to line 1. Larry, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for calling. And tell us where you're calling from.
Yes, Michael, I'm calling from Detroit.
From Detroit.
Michael, I have 2 issues. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. You said you're calling from Detroit.
Yes, sir. Michael, I have 2 issues I want to bring up. The first one happens to be the one that Joe Biden was being addressed by our black leadership. There was a secret message, supposedly, or a leaked message leaked. They brought up the point about defunding the police around the country, and Joe Biden replied to that particular statement, and he let them know that many congressional people had run and they had lost elections because of this whole defunding issue. I want to bring that up for this reason. After the Capitol Police, supposedly, we know that they had involvement. They did not do or prepare properly for the insurrection at the Capitol. There was talk of completely abandoning or defunding the Capitol Police. Why haven't someone pointed out, why haven't some of our black leadership or those in control of power pointed out the fact that, we can defund it at the Capitol, if it's an insurrection at the Capitol, but we can't defund it if this happens to be black people being murdered through police brutality and other measures that police would take in order to murder and kill outright black people. That's number one.
Well, hold on. Slow down. Before you go to number 2, let's deal with number 1. One, an investigation hasn't been completed on exactly what happened. So dissolving the U.S. Capitol Police was an idea. No one said they're going to do that. They haven't even completed an investigation, and there hasn't even been a press conference on what happened. Did you read the interview that outgoing police chief Sund did with the Washington Post this morning?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so there's a breakdown somewhere, and it took 90 minutes for Governor Larry Hogan to get an approval from the Secretary of Defense to send National Guard into D.C. So there's a real problem here, and the U.S. Capitol Police, they were understaffed and they weren't properly prepared for 8,000 people to overrun the U.S. Capitol. So defunding the U.S. Capitol Police may not be the solution. First, you have to do a thorough investigation into actually what happened and what went wrong. So you can go to your next case because defunding the police, there was a Gallup poll done back in August of 2020, and most African Americans ain't for that. They want the police. They don't want police brutality. They don't want police misconduct. But they're saying, well, we ain't trying to get rid of the police now. Now, you want proper funding for police departments, but you also want proper funding for mental health, education. You want proper funding in areas that will reduce crime also. So defund police means different things to different people. That's why I don't even use that term. It's an ambiguous term, and it makes it very easy for that term to be used against you. And what they're trying to do in Minneapolis right now is not working because they're seeing a huge increase in crime also. So you can go to your next point.
Well, like I definitely feel that just with that one at this point, I definitely feel that they understood full well what we meant when we talk about defunding of police departments.
No, they don't, because different people are saying different things. If some people say get rid of police altogether, other people say reduce the amount of budgets for police. Other people say reduce responsibilities and then reallocate resources. Different people are saying different things. That's why you have to specifically say what you mean. That's why I don't use the term defund the police, because it's too easy for it to get twisted around and be used against you. That means different things to different people. Different people in the Black Lives Matter movement are using that term, and they mean different things by it. Okay, go to your second point because we're running out of time. This is only 1 hour show.
Yes, okay. My second point happens to do with Black identity extremists. Do you know anything about the FBI memo that was released on that particular topic? Do you know who they're referring to when they talk about Black identity extremists and all this stuff that you're coming to?
Yeah. Well, I'm familiar with it. And then when Christopher Wray was asked about it, if I remember correctly, FBI Director Christopher Wray was asked about it. Because, see, I'm not sure. There's approximately 35,000 FBI agents. So I don't know which department that came from or what have you. But when FBI Director Christopher Wray was asked about it, and we'll pull this up, and when we look at, let's see, Black identity extremists, it was a congressional hearing, and he was asked about it. And let me see what was his Black identity. What was his response? Because this was a term that people were trying to get a clarification of. It's like, what exactly is this? Okay. CBC members met with FBI Director Christopher Wray about Black identity extremists. Let's see here. FBI Director Christopher Wray failed to explain why the agency he leads changed the name of a domestic terrorism designation from Black separatist extremists to Black identity extremists during a recent meeting with a group of Congressional Black Caucus members about a leaked FBI document. Wray was also, FBI Director Christopher Wray also refused to acknowledge that Black activists, including Black Lives Matter organizers, are being monitored by the FBI, according to CBC members present at the meeting. Now, we found after. Now, the date of this article is, what's the date here? This is from the New Orleans Tribune. The date of this article is, it's hard to see. They have the day's date up at the top. I'm not sure. Well, we found out that the FBI this was probably like 2 years ago, I think. We found out the FBI was monitoring Black Lives Matter activists in different cities. So Black identity extremists is not a term that you hear a lot about now. And I remember the CBC, there was a hearing that the CBC had maybe a year and a half ago, something like this. And they're trying to get a clarification on exactly what does that mean, but nobody could really explain to them what that was. All right, let's go to Cynthia. Cynthia, line 2. Cynthia, welcome to the African History Network show. Tell us where you're calling from. Do we still have Cynthia? Who we have next? We don't have Cynthia. Do we have Damien? Damien. Who do we have on the line?
Yeah, this is Damon from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Damon. Okay, Damon. It says Damien here, but Damon. Okay. Go ahead, man, because we only got a couple minutes left in the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll be quick. So one thing that I was looking at with this insurrection, right? So during the insurrection, an officer was bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
So
Sicknick, Brian
this
Sicknick.
goes to show that blue lives don't really matter.
Right.
It's just that blue lives matter was a response to saying that black lives don't matter.
Right.
Because if blue lives matter, then that wouldn't have happened.
Dude, they were fighting the police. Yeah, they were fighting the police, beating them with flagpoles, all this stuff. Yeah, I asked the question yesterday. I said, where the blue? I haven't heard anything from the Blue Lives Matter people. Have they put out a statement or anything denouncing this insurrection?
Because that never mattered in the first place. All lives matter and blue lives matter was simply a way to discredit Black Lives Matter. So that was my one point.
Yeah, but we also have reports, man, that there was like off-duty FBI. We also have reports that there were off-duty police officers there at the insurrection, participating in it. But go ahead with your last point.
Yeah. I made a joke on my Facebook page earlier this week saying, why weren't there enough Capitol Police? And the answer was because they were part of the insurrection. But, moving on to my second point was during the election, after the election, when Trump was sitting there saying, we won by this, and then that's only other votes, and they was trying to discredit, the votes, and especially in places like Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all these idiotic Trump supporters saying things like, I actually saw on your show, somebody made a comment down in the comment section saying that there was a presidential ballot, trying to figure out the presidential ballot separate from the regular ballot. And I was like, are you a freaking idiot? So to your point saying earlier when you said that you don't believe that people can read, they don't understand the Constitution, they don't understand simple voting processes. There's one ballot.
There's one ballot.
In states where a Republican senator won, and in states where a Republican senator won, but Donald Trump lost, you think that that vote was changed.
Yeah, there's one ballot.
I don't think anybody's ever touched on this point.
Right.
I don't think anybody's ever touched on this point. Is that, look, it's not just black people who voted against Trump. There are white people who voted against Trump because they were sick of his doggone antics. There were Republicans who voted against Trump. They wanted their Republican senator, but they didn't want him as president anymore. Right.
But see, what happened was the real resentment came when African Americans organized across the country and voted against Trump. Because keep in mind, Trump tried to appeal to African Americans in the last couple of months with that terrible platinum plan that I call the Fool's Gold plan. Okay. And he brought out Lil Wayne and other rappers. Mm-hmm. Then when we didn't fall for that and voted against him, voted him out of office, then he wanted to overturn our vote and target Atlanta, Detroit, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Pennsylvania to try to have recounts and try to nullify our vote, overturn our vote. Okay. All right, man, we're out of time here. You can call back tomorrow night. Okay. We're only here for an hour. Okay. But everybody check out this article from blackamericaweb.com. Black Americans want police to retain low presence. Actually, this is from poll, Gallup.com. This is the Gallup poll talking about that dealt with how Americans across against defund the police. Okay, we don't want police brutality. We want jobs, etc. Have a guardian mentality, not a warrior, etc. Black Americans want police and local presence. This is August 5th, 2020. I was watching on Facebook and YouTube, the African History Network and Michael Imhotep. Keep watching. We're going to keep broadcasting there for a little while longer. We're out of time here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF. Right now, it's correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. Stay tuned for Pastor Greg Davis. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. All right, everybody stand by. We just posted the link here to the Gallup poll. I sent this to Roland Martin because Roland was on one of his shows recently. He was asking for data or polls or something, talking about how most African Americans are not for quote unquote defund the police. I said, no, they're not. We don't want police brutality. We do want funds. We want to support mental health and education and job training and summer jobs, all that. We want all that funded. For 20 years, the Black History 101 Mobile Museum has carried on the legacy of the Black movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience. Colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, make the most traversed black mobile exhibit in America. Dr. Khalid El Hakim is the founder of History 101 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after speaker on top history, social studies, Asian studies, hip-hop, and relations. That was named among the makers for NBC Universal's E. Kane and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction for black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is scheduling in-person and exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Khalid Al directly at 31645-4197, 31645-417, or visit their at blackhistorymobile.com. That's Black History Mobile Museum. Email him at b3101@yahoo, bhistory1@yahoo.com.
Do you have an idea or business that requires app development or thinking of moving your IT resources to the cloud? We have post-paid and profit-sharing plans for unique ideas or profitable businesses. Who can take advantage of this unique program? Entrepreneurs with unique ideas, startups, small to medium businesses. Contact us 267-209-0352.
Visit nomadicsystems.net, nomadicsystems.net today. Have you tasted the world famous No Frowny Yet Pink Bakery? Not, what are you waiting for? They are vegan, free, and free of the big 8 allergies. While eating their No Frowny breads, the fabulous Martha Brown said, very good, very good. And you know, if she says that, the Pink Bakery is the first black-owned, big 8 allergen-free baking mix. Go to thepinkbakery.com. That's thepinkbakery.com to order their No Brownie Mix today. Visit 4glossygirls.com. That's the number 4glossygirls.com, and follow them on Instagram at 4glossygirls. Intuitive Design Clothing is an online accessory store that sells one of a signature statement pieces, men and women. They also specialize in fashion consultations, closet organization, and decorating small spaces. Are you looking for a statement piece for a special affair, or would you like to add some select pieces to your ensemble of accessories? If you're looking for something, definitely contact Kathy Norman, CEO, Intuitive Design Clothing. Visit their website, intuitivedesignClothing.com. That's intuitivedesignClothing.com. And you can email at info@intuitivedesignClothing.com. Intuitive Design Clothing, where every entrance is a grant. Okay. Let's see here. So check that out from Gallup poll. All right. So just a couple more things and we're going to get out of here. This has been a long day. Okay, so we got the FBI warning, and they're going to be ready for these suckers this time. I'm telling you. They're going to have 15,000 National Guard there at the inauguration. They're going to be ready for these people this time. And they're going to jump up in there, act a fool, and it ain't going to turn out too well for them. Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman. I posted about this, man. This is she has tested positive for coronavirus. African American female member of the House of Representatives, Democrat from New Jersey, member of the Congressional Black Caucus, Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman. She's a cancer survivor. Okay. And she tested positive for coronavirus after sheltering in place during the Capitol insurrection, the Capitol attack. She was in there with lawmakers. She was in there with Republican lawmakers who refused to wear masks while they were in there hunkered down, trying to avoid being killed by people who Donald Trump incited and some Republican members of Congress incited. there was an article from I think it was the Daily Beast or something like that that we posted also. But so hopefully she pulls through because she's a cancer survivor. I mean, she has an underlying condition. New Jersey Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman says she believes she was infected while isolating during the Capitol riots with other lawmakers who refused to wear masks. Now, she did receive the first dose of the 2-dose COVID vaccine offered to members of Congress. She said in a statement that she is experiencing mild cold-like symptoms and is working from home. And I know she had been through chemotherapy before. I can't remember how long ago she recovered from cancer. I think it was something like 3 years ago. But she's a recent cancer survivor, 75 years old. So now there was a story from a couple days ago from this weekend, and it was a doctor there on Capitol Hill saying that members of Congress very well could have been exposed to coronavirus while they were sheltered in. Okay, so hopefully none of them catch coronavirus. Hopefully, Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman makes a full recovery. Now, Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester, because I was following this story, and some of these Republicans, these white male Republicans, are just dumb as hell. Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester, Democrat from Delaware, was shown trying to, she's African American female, was shown trying to hand out masks in a video obtained by Punchbowl News. She said, while I was disappointed in my colleagues who refused to wear a mask, I was encouraged by those who did. My goal in the midst of what I feared was a super spreader event was to make the room at least a little safer, she later tweeted. The Delaware Congresswoman was one of the few people to attempt enforcing mask wearing. Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman recalled being in the room when someone came on the public address system to say, quote, "We recommend that you keep your mask on," end quote. She said, "I thought how absurd it is that, what do you mean by recommend?" She said they should be demanding, because a lot of the members of Congress are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and they're vulnerable. So, okay. Okay, so we have that story. We have that one. Rest of this stuff, a lot of stuff we'll try to get some of this stuff tomorrow night. And okay, the organizers of the PGA Championship cancel plans to hold the event at Trump's Bedminster, New Jersey Golf Club. Good. All the corporations are turning their back on them. Now, there was a story about 2 U.S. Capitol police officers who are suspended. And I posted this article also here. CNN had an article about this, as well as NBC News. 2 Capitol, and then they updated the article to say several Capitol police officers suspended over pro-Trump riot. Several Capitol police officers suspended over pro-Trump riot. Representative Tim Ryan, Democrat of Ohio, says that one of the officers was seen taking a selfie with members of the mob, and that another was directing people while wearing a MAGA hat, Make America Great Again hat. So originally they said 2 U.S. Capitol Police have been suspended, but that's been updated, and now it's at least 12 of them have been suspended as this investigation continues. Let's go to this clip here. I think we got, let's see, let's try this.
Police officers suspended for their roles in last week's dramatic development. 2 Capitol police officers suspended for their roles in last week's insurrection. Some officers have been seen taking selfies with rioters or letting them through.
I know that there were 2 people suspended. One was the selfie officer, and another was an officer who had put a MAGA hat on and started directing some people around.
Terrorism analysts say Wednesday's riot leaders may have fully intended to capture or harm members of Congress, including Speaker Pelosi, even Vice President Pence. Among the evidence, threatening online posts, weapons, explosives, the tactical gear some rioters were wearing, and those zip ties often used as handcuffs. The FBI says it's making arrests as it works through tens of thousands of tips. And it's looking for this man, seen carrying a Confederate flag through the Capitol.
Well, it's quite clear that the events of last week, that we have within the United States a form of domestic terrorism that is focused on the overthrow of our government, is focused on the idea of chaos.
NBC News has reported that both the NYPD and the FBI had warned Capitol Police days before the attack that right-wing extremists were planning something big. But the Capitol Police Chief, Stephen Sund, who has resigned under pressure, says he requested National Guard troops to stand by days in advance, but his request was turned down by his bosses, the sergeants at arms in the House and the Senate. Sund told the Washington Post that at 2:26 p.m., as the attack was underway, he pleaded with the Pentagon for help, saying, "I'm making an urgent, immediate request for National Guard assistance. I've got to get boots on the ground." But he says he was rebuffed by a Pentagon general out of concern it would not look good to have Guard troops at the Capitol. Today, though, that general at the Pentagon said neither I nor anyone else from DOD denied the deployment of requested personnel. The approval to deploy was received approximately 40 minutes after the call initiated. Guard troops arrived at 5:40 p.m., more than 3 hours after the initial request.
There are ways to secure the perimeter of the U.S. Capitol. We do this for an inauguration. We do this for a State of the Union address. We do this for a UN General Assembly every year. This could have been avoided if it had been anticipated.
Okay, so that's former Secretary of Homeland Security Jay Johnson under the Obama administration, who ran the government much better than this jackass here. But, anyway.
Also tonight, the Republican State Attorneys General Association is under fire after a fundraising arm sent out robocalls before last week's march, calling for the march to the Capitol.
At 1 o'clock p.m., we marched to the Capitol building and called on Congress to stop this deal.
Executive Director Adam Piper first blamed staff for the call. Today, he resigned.
Tom, let me ask you this. I want to go back to those suspended Capitol police officers. What else do we know there?
Yeah, Congressman Tim Ryan, who oversees the committee that oversees that particular police department, says that we know that other officers are under investigation. And also, police departments around the country are looking at how their officers acted if they came here to the rally. Were they involved in this riot?
Okay, so that is from that's NBC Nightly News. That's a clip in this article here from NBC News. So all these people are resigning. All this is blowing up in their face. They thought they could just go follow Trump and we're going to go and we're going to storm the Capitol and we're going to keep Trump in office and Pence is going to throw out electoral college votes and we're going to fly back home on Southwest because bags fly free and we're going to go back to work at Walmart or wherever the hell they work or whatever they do. And it's not working that way. They're going home and it's like, knock at the door, FBI. Let's see. So it's so much going on. I can't get through all this tonight. This is just crazy. You got Rudy Giuliani, who called Senator Tommy Tuberville, new senator from Alabama, to get Tuberville to make objections during the Senate process confirming the electoral college votes to slow down the process. because they're trying to keep Trump in office. This now the New York Bar Association is trying to disbar Rudy Giuliani also. I don't think they thought it was like really gonna go like this, because this is blowing up in their face. So let me see. There was I wanted to pull this one up here. Washington Post did a very revealing interview with outgoing U.S. Capitol Police Chief Sund. And let me pull this up here. Okay. Outgoing Capitol Police Chief, House Senate security officials hamstrung efforts to call in National Guard. Now, he said that he was on the phone pleading with the Pentagon, but in the clip from NBC Nightly News, somebody at the Pentagon said that he wasn't refused personnel, what have you, things like this. Somebody's lying. Okay, somebody's lying. But in this interview, we'll post a link here. 2 days before Congress was set to formalize President-elect Joe Biden's victory, Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund, S-U-N-D, was growing increasingly worried about the size of the pro-Trump crowds expected to stream into Washington in protest. Now, according to Malcolm Nance, counterterrorist expert, he said from the information he's getting, there's about 8,000 people there. And you know what? So what's happened is, and we talked about this on our show Sunday night, over the past, from Friday, Saturday, and through Sunday, more photos, more videos were coming out from different angles at different periods of time during the insurrection to really show the gravity of what happened. Because Wednesday, Thursday, most people didn't really realize how devastating the attack was and how many people were actually involved in the attack. So News1.com has a series of pictures. NBC News has them also. But I was looking at some of these because there was a wide shot. What really drove the point home for me was when I saw the this wide shot of thousands of people. All right, let's see here. Let me see if we get this picture. And they're arresting all these idiots. But okay, I was looking for I was trying to see if I could find one of the wide shots of the attack that really shows it. It's probably NBC News, but I want to get to this article here, Washington Post. Okay, so 2 days before Congress was set to formalize President-elect Joe Biden's victory, Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund was growing increasingly worried about the size of the pro-Trump crowds expected to stream into Washington in the protests. To be on the safe side, Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund asked House and Senate security officials for permission to request that the D.C. National Guard be placed on standby in case he needed quick backup. To be on the safe side, Chief Stephen Sund asked House and Senate security officials for permission to request that the D.C. National Guard be placed on standby in case he needed quick backup. But Chief Sund said Sunday they turned him down. In his first interview since pro-Trump rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol last week in an attempted coup, Chief Stephen Sund, who has since resigned his post, said his supervisors were reluctant to take formal steps to put the guard on call even as police intelligence suggested that the crowd Donald Trump had invited to Washington to protest his defeat probably would be much larger than earlier demonstrations. House Sergeant at Arms for the House of Representatives, Paul Irving, said he was not comfortable with the quote-unquote optics of formally declaring an emergency ahead of the demonstration. U.S. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund said. Meanwhile, Sergeant at Arms Michael Stenger, Stenger, Senate Sergeant at Arms Michael Stenger suggested that Chief Sund should informally seek out his guard contacts, asking them to quote unquote lean forward, and be on alert in case Capitol Police needed their help. Now, Paul Irving, House Sergeant at Arms Paul Irving, could not be reached for comment at the time of this article. A cell phone number listed in his name has not accepted messages since Wednesday. Probably full. Voicemail is probably full. Messages left at a residence he owns in Nevada were not immediately returned, and there was no answer Sunday evening at a Watergate apartment listed in his name. A neighbor said he had recently moved out. Now, Senate Sergeant at Arms Michael Stenger, Stenger, declined Sunday to comment when a reporter visited his Virginia home. Quote, "I really don't want to talk about it," end quote, he said. Well, I'm pretty sure you don't. Now, it was the first of 6 times Chief Sund's request for help was rejected or delayed, he said. It was the first of 6 times that he said his request for help was rejected. 2 days later, on Wednesday afternoon, January 6th, his forces already in the midst of a crisis. Chief Sund said he pleaded for help 5 more times as a scene far more dire than he had ever imagined unfolded on the historic Capitol grounds. An army of 8,000 pro-Trump demonstrators streamed down Pennsylvania Avenue after hearing Trump speak near the White House. Chief Sund's outer perimeter on the Capitol's west side was breached within 15 minutes with 1,400 Capitol police officers on duty. Okay, 1,400 Capitol police officers on duty. His forces were quickly overrun. I've heard estimates 500 on duty, but okay, according to this, 1,400 Capitol police officers on duty. Okay. Quote, "If we would have had the National Guard, we could have held them at bay longer until more officers from our partner agencies could arrive," he said. Now, just before 2 p.m. on Wednesday, June 6th, just before 2 p.m., the pro-Trump mob entered the Capitol, sending lawmakers and staff scrambling for safety. D.C. police had quickly dispatched hundreds of officers to the scene, but it was not enough. At 2:26 p.m., Chief Sund said he joined a conference call to the Pentagon to plead for additional backup. Chief Sund said, "I am making an urgent, immediate request for National Guard assistance. I have got to get boots on the ground." Now, on the call were several officials from the D.C. government, as well as officials from the Pentagon, including Lieutenant General Walter E. Piatt, P-I-A-T-T, Director of the Army Staff. The D.C. contingent was flabbergasted to hear Lieutenant General Walter E. Piatt said that he could not recommend that his boss, Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy, approve the request. Quote, I don't like the visual of the National Guard standing a police line with the Capitol in the background, end quote, Lieutenant General Walter E. Piatt said, according to Chief Sund and others on the call. So there are other people who are on the call corroborating what U.S. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund said in his desperate plea while his troops are being, while the Capitol Police are being overran by 8,000 domestic terrorists that Trump sent to the U.S. Capitol building to commit a coup. Again and again, Police Chief Sund said, quote, the situation is dire. Recall John Falcico, Falcicchio, the chief of staff for D.C. Mayor Muriel E. Bowser. Quote, literally, this guy's on the phone, I mean, crying out for help, is burned in my memories, end quote. Pentagon officials have emphasized that the Capitol Police did not ask for D.C. Guard backup ahead of the event or request to put a riot contingency plan in place with guardsmen at the ready, and then made an urgent request as rioters were about to breach the building, even though the guard isn't set up to be a quick reaction force like the police. Quote, we rely on Capitol Police and federal law enforcement to provide an assessment of the situation, Pentagon spokesman Jonathan Huffman said during a news conference last week. Quote, and based on that assessment that they had, they believed they had sufficient personnel and did not make a request, end quote. Now, back on January 7th, I talked about the article from the Associated Press that dealt with how Chief Sund turned down assistance from the Department of Justice. Because I'm going through looking at these different statements, and I'm looking at different articles, and I'm putting all this stuff together, and it's something's not right here. Which that article is one from the Associated Press, and I talked about it the day it came out, and Joanne Reed talked about it also on the readout. Here, I'll pull it up here. It's from the Associated Press, and it deals with Capitol Police refused help. Capitol Police rejected offers of help to quell mob. Now, this is from January 7th, 2021. This is the day after the insurrection. 3 days before supporters of Donald Trump rioted at the Capitol, the Pentagon asked the U.S. Capitol Police if it needed National Guard manpower. Okay, this 3 days before, so that would be Sunday. And as the mob descended on the building Wednesday, January 6th, Justice Department leaders reached out to offer up FBI agents. The police turned them down both times. This would be the U.S. Capitol Police turned them down both times, according to senior defense officials and two people familiar with the matter. Now, I'm not sure who they talked to who turned down the Justice Department. I'm not sure they talked to Chief Sund, but something doesn't sound right. Despite plenty of warnings of a possible insurrection and ample resources, and time to prepare, the Capitol Police planned only for a free speech demonstration. Still stinging from the uproar over the violent response by law enforcement to protests last June near the White House, officials also were intent on avoiding any appearance that the federal government was deploying active duty or National Guard troops against Americans. Okay, now that's a theme that I'm seeing throughout this different reporting from different news sources. We see it January 7th. We see it in the interview that Chief Son did that the Washington Post printed January 11th. The Secretary of Defense and the Pentagon did not like the optics of the National Guard standing, like backing up the police or something like that, because of what happened this past summer with the federal forces being used against Black Lives Matter activists there in like Washington Square. But when you got 8,000 insurrectionists, gotta go. You need the National Guard. You need, you need troops. Now, if we go back to the article from the Washington Post for a minute here. Despite Chief Son's pleas, the National Guard personnel did not arrive at the Capitol until 5:40 p.m. after 4 people had died and the worst was long over. Now, Chief Son, Stephen Son, 55, offered his resignation the next day, telling friends he felt he had left his officers down. He had let his officers down. Many lawmakers, infuriated by the breach and angry that they had been unable to reach Chief Son at the height of the crisis, were only too happy to accept it. Well, Nancy Pelosi demanded he resign, and so did Senator Chuck Schumer. Now, under pressure from lawmakers, Stenger and Irving also resigned, the Sergeant at Arms of the House of Representatives in the U.S. Senate. In a wide-ranging interview, Chief Son sought to defend his officers, who he said had fought valiantly, and with threats of violence looming ahead of Biden's January 20th inauguration, he said he remains worried. Quote, "My concern is if they don't get their act together with physical security, is going to happen again," end quote. All right, so check out the rest of this article here. Outgoing Capitol Police Chief, House Senate security officials hamstrung efforts to call in National Guard. This is from the Washington Post. Okay, so lastly, January 10th was the birth date of one of the members of the 3 Degrees. And who could forget the 3 Degrees on Sanford and Son? That's how I found out about the 3 Degrees. I don't know if I knew, for a long time, I didn't know they were a real singing group, but they were. I posted about this on Sunday, January 10th. Fayette Pinkney was born January 10th, 1948. Fayette Regina Pinkney. She was a singer and one of the original members of the musical group The 3 Degrees. Pinkney was one of 3 young teenagers brought together by manager Richard Barnett to form the 3 Degrees in 1963. She was a part of the group until she was sacked by the manager Richard Barrett. She was sacked by the manager Richard Barrett from the group in 1976. and was with them through their great years with Roulette and Philadelphia International Records, and sang on many of their greatest hits, such as When Will I See You Again? That was a big hit, When Will I See You Again? And Take Good Care of Yourself. Okay. Now, she traveled to London in January 1979 to record her only solo album, One Degree, which she did in just 2 weeks to great acclaim from both her peers and fans. Fayette subsequently earned a bachelor's degree in psychology from Temple University and a master's degree in human services from Lincoln University in 1984. She later worked as a counselor and vocal coach, and in addition to singing with her church's inspirational choir, she traveled with a group called the Intermezzo Choir Ministry. So here is an excerpt of their famous appearance on Sanford and Son, because that's how I found out about the 3 Degrees. And now the way I found out that they were a singing group, a real singing group, is probably maybe 20 years ago now. I was at a Harmony House record store, and in the, they had the bins, like the 99 cent bins. They had cassette tapes there, and I saw the 3 Degrees cassette tape for 99 cents. So that's how I knew they were a real singing group. Okay, let's go to this clip.
Hey, Pops, how you feeling this morning? I feel with my hand like I always did. Wow, that fighting and satirical wit. What I'm trying to say is, I hope the girls haven't been too much of an inconvenience. Oh, not at all.
Hi, Rollo. Hi, Rollo. Here you are. Hot buttermilk biscuits with margarine and syrup on the side.
Hey, man, there ain't no cooks or servants, they're singers.
Don't talk to him like that, Rollo.
Well, I want to know what's going on. Hey, Pops, look at me. Please, not while I'm eating.
Rollo.
You're supposed to be ready to rehearse.
Well, we're ready.
Well, let's get to getting.
We're going to dedicate this to you, Uncle Fred.
Yeah.
Okay?
You girls sing, I'll eat, and Rado, you sit down and shut up.
I didn't know, ooh, you were going to be my baby. Be my baby. I didn't know, loving you drive me crazy. Ooh, didn't know when your friend introduced us, it would be the start of a love affair. Chokes me up, ever think of leaving you. Hope you feel that same way too. I didn't know, ooh, you were gonna be my baby. Be my baby. I didn't know, loving you would drive me crazy. Ooh, you swooped down on me like a hawk on a dove. Clipped my wings, and I knew I was in love. Thought I was in love with another man. I'm in the palm of your hand. Didn't know, ooh, you were gonna be my baby. Be my baby. Be my baby.
All right, so that's the 3 Degrees on Sanford and Son. Let me see. I pulled up. Okay, so this was from the National R&B Music Society, and let's turn on the screen share. So I think most people remember that episode of Sanford and Son. Let's see here. Let's turn this. Okay. We'll bring this up so you can see who this is. Listen right here. Okay. Yeah. Fayette Pinkney, she passed away June 27th, 2009, but she born January 10th, 1948. And she was a member of the 3 Degrees. All right. Let's see if we can squeeze in one more clip from Sanford and Son. I was looking at a couple of clips with the 3 Degrees. There's also an interview from there's an interview that the 3 Degrees did maybe about 5 years ago. Maybe about 5 years ago in the UK. Let me see. That's that clip's only. That clip's only about a minute. Let me see. There's another one here. Okay, we already played that one. All right, they don't have many clips of the 3 Degrees. I was looking at 3 Degrees on Sanford and Son, but we'll play this. We'll play this other one here. Just a second. Let's get this up. All right, stand by.
These are the 3 degrees. You make my temperature go up 100 degrees.
Mr. Sanford, you're beautiful letting us stay with you. Thank you very much. So much. We don't have any place to stay.
Hey, cut that out. Come on, get away from it. Yeah, his heart might attack him. Tell him who I am, girls.
You are Rollo Lawson, the greatest manager ever to grace the planet.
In whose hands we place our lives, our careers, and our fortune.
We will never forsake his teachings for silver or gold, for he knows what's best for us.
I didn't know. Ooh, you were gonna be my baby.
Be my baby.
I didn't know. Loving you, drives me crazy.
All right, let me pull up this interview that they did January 28, 2015, the 3 Degrees interview. Oh, hold on. 3 Degrees interview. Now, Fayette Pinkney had already passed on at this point. Yeah, because she died in 2009. So, just a second. Let me cue this up past the music.
Scott and Freddie Poole join us now. Good morning. We've just been doing the arithmetic because there's a difference between the longest serving member and the member who started first.
Okay.
So, who started first? 1963.
Yes.
Okay, but then you left.
Yes.
And then who's been the longest serving member?
Valerie.
For how many years now?
No. I think that's a fair comment. 100.
Long time. But it's a thing to be proud of.
Yes.
Yeah, because there aren't very many hardly any musical entities that it's acts that stay for that long and are so recognizable. So well done to you.
Thank you. So how does it? Is it an extraordinary story, really? Because I'm just looking at who's been in the band over the last, and we won't go into years, many years, or some years. How does it work? How much has it changed then since the days when you were first in it?
Wow. Well, we were teenagers in high school, so I don't think any of us expected that it would be what it is today.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a fast pace snowball. It just kept growing and growing and growing. And obviously, over a 50-year span, things have changed. Recording has changed. Traveling has changed. Everything has changed. So,
Freddie, you're the newest member because you literally just arrived, just about, because you joined 4 years ago. You're the baby. So, what is it like? What was it like to join the group when they are so well established?
It was absolutely wonderful. Actually, we'd actually toured together before I joined the group. I was in another group. Mm-hmm. So we'd actually toured, and we'd gotten to know each other, and to work with Valerie and Helen is very exciting. I jokingly say that I joined a female Temptations group because there's lots of choreography, lots of dancing.
Yeah.
I come from a group where we were flowing and, doing all those little flowing things. When I teamed up with Valerie and Helen, It was like being on a racetrack.
Really?
Beautiful.
Race-
Yes. I mean, using all those muscles, and when you want to know how long, Valerie has been in the group, and she said, well, you know what, because of all that activity going on.
Yes. She stayed.
I can do it. Look, she's firm. She's tall. Yeah.
So that's
it
important.
really does help.
That's important. Presumably important as well how your voices sound together. Is that
The blend.
Yes.
Very important.
the blend?
Yes.
So how do you choose someone who has how do you know someone has the right blend then?
Well, we needed somebody for middle, for second soprano and altos, basically. So as long as that was good, then we were good.
Okay.
So you're embarking on a tour. It's literally just about to start, aren't you?
It's actually a two-part tour. And the reason that it has to be broken up is because once we finish this leg of the tour, we have to go to Japan. And we couldn't swap that around. So that's why we're doing a part now and then a part later in June. And, fortunately, we were able to continue that to make, because we haven't been here in a little bit. So it's good that we're able to do this now.
You may have not been here for a little bit, but this was your second home.
Absolutely.
Royal seal of approval at one point. Wasn't
very nice.
Yes.
Well, I don't know about the royal seal of approval, but this was our second home. Absolutely.
But you did play for royalty a number of times, didn't you? What was that like?
Very exciting. I mean, coming out of Buckingham Palace at 5 o'clock in the morning, who could say that?
Oh, brilliant.
What were you doing between... Well, never mind. You had a good party there, though.
We did, yes.
And when you're playing now and you're singing, so who comes to the Concerts Festival? Is it people who originally came back in the day, or is there a whole new generation now knowing who the 3 Degrees are and loving your work?
I know we are all our friends and our fans. They come to the show, but often they will bring friends of theirs and aunts and uncles and nieces. So we are constantly renewing the friendship. There's a wonderful thing that we don't seem to have an age limit. It starts very young and it just goes all the way. And that's really good. Everybody enjoys the show, which is what we aim for.
Well, looking back in time, when Sheila Ferguson was part of the group, you recorded a special program. This is Take 3 Degrees back in 1982.
All right. So we posted a link here. You can watch the full interview. That is the 3 Degrees interview on BBC Breakfast, January 28th, 2015. It's basically 6 years ago. So today is also the birth date of the queen of hip hop soul, one Mary J. Blige, born January 11th, 1971. Mary, and her name is Mary Jane Blige, singer, songwriter, rapper, and actress. She started her career as a backup singer on Uptown Records in 1989. She has released 13 studio albums, 8 of which achieved multi-platinum worldwide sales. Mary J. Blige has won 9 Grammy Awards, 4 American Music Awards, 10 Billboard Music Awards, and has also received 3 Golden Globe Award nominations, including one for her supporting role in the film Mudbound, and another for its second original song, Mighty River, for Mudbound. She has also received a nomination for the Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actress and Best Original Song, becoming the first person nominated for acting and songwriting in the same year. Mary J. Blige has also appeared in Tyler Perry's 2009 film I Can Do Bad All By Myself, and in the film Rock of Ages. So happy birthday to Mary J. Blige. And then also today is the birth date of actress and comedian Kim Coles, who we probably first saw on In Living Color, and then also on Living Single as Sinclair St. James. Now, she's an actress, comedian, and game show host, and she's known for those roles in Living Color for the first season, 1990-1991, and on Living Single, 1993 to 1998, which both originally aired on Fox. In Living Color and Living Single both originally aired on Fox. She was the host of BET's game show Pay It Off in 2009. And this information comes courtesy of Soul TV on Facebook. All right. Hey, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me /the AHN Show, paypal.me /the AHN Show. Or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And let me see, I wanted to look last year at that article. We looked at the Capitol Hill police officers. We're looking at that. Lawmakers called back. Capitol Hill police officers. Okay, several Capitol police officers suspended over pro-Trump riot. This is from NBC News. I'm also looking at the reporting from the Washington Post on this story as well. So several U.S. Capitol police officers were suspended and at least 10 more are under investigation over the deadly pro-Trump insurrection last week, officials said on Monday, January 11th. Acting U.S. Capitol Police Chief, this is a sister, Yogananda Pittman said the suspensions occurred amid an internal probe. Video and other evidence appears to show that some officers and officials violated department policies, U.S. Capitol Police Chief Pittman said. Pittman did not provide additional information about the inquiry or specify how many people had been suspended. Now, earlier on Monday, Representative Tim Ryan, Democrat from Ohio, who chairs one of the committees that oversees the U.S. Capitol Police, told reporters that one of the suspended officers appeared to have taken a selfie with members of the mob. And we've all seen that footage, trying to figure out what the hell is he doing. Another officer was suspended after he was seen wearing a Make America Great Again hat and directing people inside the building. I guess, did he think they were on a white supremacist tour or something like that? He's directing them. Hey, go here. Yeah, you come in here. Now, Representative Ryan did not identify the officers during a Zoom call. Ryan said he believed one officer had been arrested, but a spokesman later clarified that he had misspoken. There have been no arrests, the spokesman said, of the Capitol Hill police officers. Now, Representative Ryan said 10 to 15 more officers were being investigated, although he could not provide details about the extent of those investigations. Quote, the main point is the Capitol Police are looking at everybody involved that could have potentially facilitated at a big level or a small level, end quote, he said. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund announced his resignation over the events of Wednesday amid intense scrutiny over the department's response to the mob's assault on the Capitol. And we know 5 people died as a result of this assault, including Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick. All right, so check out this article here. There's more. There's going to be officers held accountable. There's going to be huge fallout from this all the way around. All right, check out this article from NBC News, and then also there's one from looking at Washington Post. There's an article on this as well. At least 2 U.S. Capitol officers suspended, more than a dozen under investigation over suspected role in riot. Also read one from, we posted one from CNN. CNN has an article about this as well. All right, look, hey, we have to get out of here. Follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. Turn on live notifications so you know when we go live. Follow us on our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP, on YouTube. And then text the word Kemet, AEMET, to 22828. Text the word Kemet to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. All right. And then also African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. Email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network also. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, right now it's correct your own behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you all tomorrow night. Peace.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. Comedicwear.com is the go-to online source for comedic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. We're committed to offering unique styles from African heritage. Comedicwear.com is inspired by ComedicScribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at comedicwear.com.
Black Bees products are a collection of natural, organic, personal care products with an appreciation of nature and bees. Our philosophy is without bees, we have nothing. We are honoring our now Valley ancestors who understood the importance of bees. Black Bees created a high-quality, natural, organic personal care that would be affordable to everyone. We hope you try and enjoy our Black products and come back and visit us at blackbeesproducts.com.
For 25 years, the Black 101 Mobile Museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most diverse Black history exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid El Hakim is of the Black History 1 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after expert on topics of Black social studies, education, museum, hip-hop, and race. Dr. Khalid, among the change NBC Universal's Erased and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction Black enterprise. He founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on the campus of Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently in person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Khalid Al Hakim at 313-445-4197 and 335-4197, or visit their website, Black History Mobile Museum. That's blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also at bhistory1@yahoo.com, bhistory101yahoo.com. With blackbusinesstee.com, the messages are clear and meaningful. Keep your business in the black and out of the red. Mind your Black business, know your numbers, and plan strategically. Black Business Boss, lead your industry. Support Black business, encourage, patronize, and uplift one another. BlackBusinessTea.com currently has products sold in Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and Los Angeles, with proceeds returned to the Black community. They have a wide selection of hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, sweatshirts that support Black-owned businesses. Visit the website blackbusinesstee.com. That's blackbusiness